Hello there, amazing people. We are going to do a little bit of a different reaction video today because we're going into the belly of the beast. We're going knee deep into the cold of Linux. We're going into the LinuxMasterRace to see how much fun we can have. And I am sure that some of the LinuxMasterRace people are going to watch this video, or almost sure. Let's be a little... Well, I'm 1000% sure. Let's be arrogant motherfucker here. So I kind of have to say where I'm coming from. I probably used Linux long before most of these people that are posting here even had pubes, or probably were born. So I used Linux for the first time in the mid to late 90s. I ran Linux as my main desktop from 2000 to 2008, and then from 2013 to 2015 when I then slowly start to use Windows more and more again in Linux and virtual machines. I have talked to Linux professionals, Linux hobbyists, IT professionals, IT hobbyists for over 2 decades about Linux. I'm just saying that because I know that they will say, oh, he don't know what he's talking about, oh, he don't know Linux, he's not been using Linux, and all of these normal things that I get on my videos. I probably learned and forgot more things about Linux than most of these people have ever learned about Linux. So yeah, I not to toot my own horn, hashtag a little bit, but it's just so I can disprove a lot of the things that the common Linux users are coming at me with. Let's go into it, let's have some fun. Sorry for this little, here I am, the fucking Linux professor and stuff like that, which I'm not. What I did, I went on to the LinuxMasterRace. Actually, I already hate this fucking theme here. I don't use Reddit much. I may go on to the Fedora and OpenSUSE subreddit once in a while. Maybe Ubuntu. I just think Reddit is a cesspool. I'm sorry. Like, Reddit is Twitter for nerds, you know. It's where all the Karens and social justice warriors, they swing their dicks around. But yeah, I just went for new. We will just scroll down it until I get tired of it, and let's see what they are saying. I may be, you know, proven wrong, and it's all just amazing, awesome, wholesome poke. Why is this so true in my case? Oh shit, we're already here. We're going into the politics of Linux. Is an operating system. It's nothing to do with well, everything has something to do with politics, but Linux is not going to change the world politically. Okay, Linux is not going to be a political tool. You're not going to take, you know, Linux to your local government and change the fucking taxations of your fucking sex robots with Linux. Let's just be honest here. Linux is just something you use instead of Windows, and most people don't give a fuck about what operating system you're using. So Authorian left, economic left, Debian, Mint, Authorian right, Ubuntu. Why are you more progressive for using Debian and Mint versus Ubuntu? Libertarian right. It makes no sense. Like, your political leaning has nothing to do with this. So here's how I would put it up, okay? Corporate user, Ubuntu, Red Hat, Debian, Fedora. Casual, mid-range, new to Linux kind of user, Ubuntu, Mint. I'm just going from the ones that are on this table. I'm not going for other existing users. Distributions. Tinker. You know, people that like to explore, do a lot more manual work themselves, setting up the system as they specifically want it. I would go with Gentoo and Arch Linux. Feeling unique and like I'm really special snowflake, I would say Poppy Linux. So what do you prefer this to say about your politics? I use all of those, so where am I? I use... well, I don't use Red Hat anymore. I don't use Poppy or Gentoo anymore. I used Gentoo in 2002 or 3 or something like that. Right now, I use Debian, Ubuntu, OpenSUSE, Kubuntu, Arch. I can't fucking remember, there's 2 others. Pop OS. Where am I? Am I like a political nomad according to this? Like, this is how fucking stupid this is. Nix from nothing. Let's learn Nix and Nix OS. Oh, that's a YouTube video. I don't want to click those. So now it means Ubuntu is not a Linux distribution anymore, or distro anymore. What? What are people freaking about this? It's the exact same thing. Yeah, it's the exact same thing as Best has done, because people are idiots, and and much as I prefer Debian on servers, I still like that. Yeah, Ubuntu Pro has like my brain is already hurting. Ubuntu Pro is something that has been requested by people that use Ubuntu for the better part of a decade. It's something that server administrators, corporations, pro-users have asked Ubuntu to do. But yeah, little Billy Bob with his fucking hentai poster in the basement knows better. Yeah, that's... I get it. HSK, HTML is out. ChatGPT, Linux, HTML generation tool. Yeah, whatever. Cypher, Pac-Man, apps, Winget. So, I actually have used Winget. It's actually really fucking good. What's the problem here? It's a slow mirror, I should say. What is he updating here? He's... I don't understand people's brains. He's getting from mirror subtext edu.cn. I have no idea what the fuck that is. Yeah, this makes no sense to me. Proton fails to find steam.exe in system sentences. Hey, gaming under Linux is great. It just fucking works. Fact, Ubuntu Debian. So, no, that's not... So, children, this is what Ubuntu is according to the relationship to Debian. It's not like Debian is giving, a kid a kidney or something like that. You have Debian doing their thing here. You have Ubuntu doing their thing over here. Jazz hands, by the way, don't get triggered, snowflake people. So when Ubuntu is going to do a new release, they take the code from Debian and they go into SID, unstable, and all over the fucking place. And they are like... putting it over here, and now they're doing their own shit over here. It's a cousin, maybe, to Debian. .ubuntu or ubuntu.deb package is not the same as a Debian.deb package. They are highly compatible, but not all of them are compatible because Ubuntu have different standards and ways of doing things than Debian. Just because they're using the apt systems don't mean that it's Ubuntu. Again, learn what downstream and upstream is and all of that fucking shit. And yeah. Oh, I love this. Morality of proprietary software. There should be no fucking problem with proprietary software. So here's the thing. Just because a software has a license don't mean it's inherently bad. It's the people using it. Or maybe not using it, developing it. So this is a big thing, people. Windows is not bad because it's Windows. Windows is bad because of this thing Microsoft is making Windows do. There are plenty of amazing proprietary software out there that don't take your telemetry, that don't take your user data, that let you use it for free. They just don't want to show you the code. A license don't dictate that something is bad. It's the people, humans. There should be no more, what the question here should be, proprietary companies or predatory companies or data collection telemetry companies. That's what the question should be. The software license has nothing to do with how the software is going. It's not like, let's pretend Linus Torvalds tomorrow made the Linux kernel proprietary. That don't mean that, oh my god, now it's going to do telemetry. Oh my god, now it's going to do user data collection. Oh my god, now it's going to do microtransaction all over the place. No. It just means you can't see the code. He could be doing the exact same thing as he's been doing now. Letting big corporations look at the code, developing, it in the same nature and stuff like that as now you as a consumer just can't see the code. Or if you do, you sign a NDA. That don't make Linux. Proprietary software is absolutely more. No, companies doing bad thing with proprietary software is. Proprietary software and FOSS are equal in terms of morality. Yes, they are, because there are plenty of corporations out there that are doing immoral shit with open source software. I'm looking at you, Red Hat. Go look up the shit that Red Hat is doing. Proprietary software, not absolutely immoral, but less ethical. Again, it's the humans, it's the corporations behind the code that are the ethical and immoral problems here. But it depends on the type of software. No, it depends on the type of the company. I don't care. Most people really don't care. Other results. This is spoken from a 1000% fucking cluelessness about what a license is and how software is made. I have scripts that are BSD licensed. So if I haven't used some of them in fucking 2 years. So if I woke up one morning with a massive fucking, morning wood going on, I'm like, you know what? I just want to proprietary. I don't want to deal with people criticizing my badly written code. So I say, okay, this is a proprietary code, you can't see the license anymore. That's not going to change any fucking thing about the code. You can say, I know it's proprietary software, but can I get the code? And say, yeah, here's the code. I'm not going to put telemetry into it. The amount of cluelessness from people like this is like, do you run into a wall and drool in the corner every day? I'm sorry, I'm sorry, there's a Ubuntu Pro. Yeah, why? Again, Ubuntu Pro is a response to something thousands of people that pay Ubuntu thousands of dollars have asked for. It's not something you should care about. if you don't want to utilize it. It's an option. You've seen Hannah Montana now get ready for this. Yeah, again, who gives a fuck? Hats on Michael Linux. Again, this is... when I see stuff like this, when I see a wallpaper like this, or screenshot like this, I'm like, this must be the most clueless and sexless person in the world. Have you ever talked to a female, or, you know, whatever sex that you want to have sex with, or have intercourse with? Have you ever talked to someone that you're romantically interested in? Have you tried to pursue that? Or are you too fucking scared and just sit behind your fucking table here and are looking at, you know, your favorite fucking hentai wallpapers and pretending it to be a real person? Go out there, get laid, touch some grass, you know, go out there, touch some boobs. Or some whatever you want to touch, some butt, I don't care. Linux new learning bash script in 3 days to then make an anime downloader. Ah, the loneliness. The loneliness. I do like that they are learning bash. That's kind of neat though. For the upgrade skeptics out there, yeah, no Linux standard base module was found, okay? I don't get this. I have to see what this is about. Oh, okay, I see what it is. Oh, for God's fuck's sake. Yeah, I forgot about the 2017. Yeah, I upgraded an Arch install from 2013 in 2000 to 2020 or 21 or something like that. Yeah, that's best set up for learning Python. So here's the thing. No matter what coding language that you're going to learn, it don't matter where you're learning it. The fact is that you're learning it. I would say that setting up a lot of programming languages are really easy on Linux and Mac OS. Windows can be, especially Python, can be a little bit like, well, or it used to be a little bit iffy-diffy on Windows. Now the installer do everything, set up your environments and stuff like that. But there are some programming languages where under Windows you have to, you know, set up environment paths and stuff like that, like you do under Linux and Mac OS. Mac OS and Linux, a lot of the environments, if you're coding outside of the Microsoft ecosystem, of course, they're kind of just built in. You just do sudo apt or sudo pacman or whatever, you know, your favorite distribution is, and then you just install, you know, the libraries and stuff like that. But that's not the point. You should not be like, oh, okay, I want to learn this. What is the easiest system to learn it on? To set it up, you should be like, I want to learn X programming language. What system are you going to program for? It makes no sense to learn Python under Windows if you're going to program Python programs and scripts for Linux. You do it on Linux. Like, it makes no sense to program for Windows under Linux. Do it under Windows. It gives you an easier path, more convenient path for end user testing, data collection, because you're already on the platform. You don't have to have Linux as your coding base and then Windows in a virtual machine or secondary computer running Windows to test the program. You can test it on the same machine you're coding on. So what you should ask yourself, where am I going to use these programs? And then if it's Windows, well, it will be better to code on Windows. If you're just learning to code for the fact of learning to code, choose the operating system that fits your needs the best. Many USB Wi-Fi dongles work without any firmware in lib firmware. I haven't had many Wi-Fi problems under Linux. What I have had problems with Wi-Fi under Linux is the speed. I've noticed that a lot of, and it depends on of course, the manufacturers and stuff like that, and how mature the drivers are. But I have noticed that if I use a computer with Wi-Fi on, and I run it in Windows versus Linux, depending on, like I said, the Wi-Fi dongle and the driver maturity under Linux, I do lose speed. At least, I'll say it like this. In my case, with the ones I have tried in my 25 plus years with Linux, it's kind of 50-50 if I'm losing speed or not. And sometimes I'm like half the fucking speed than under Windows. Other times it's just like almost non-noticeable. So yeah, can someone explain this, please? Oh, yeah. Let's see what this is. Yeah, that's because they are looking at memory in a different way. They are rounding up, rounding down. They are looking at, someone made I actually read a post, funny enough, that explains the way that HTOP are looking at memory, the formula that they are using, basically the mathematic formula in the backend that they are using versus the one in known resources. And I think the one in known resources is using it in a way that it rounds up a little bit, so therefore you will get a discrepancy between it. Okay, so someone here is learning, no, that's are unit stickers. Cool. I like stickers. Actually, I really do like stickers. That's fucking cool. I like stuff like this. I've been trying for years to data drive Linux, but because of architecture university, the programs forced me on Windows. I finally found a workflow that suits my needs for the laptop at least. It's something that there's not enough information online. Should I document my workflow on YouTube? Yeah, but here's the thing. If you then come to the conclusion that for some reason something is not up to your satisfaction under Linux, be aware, Frankenstein's mob will come after you instead of Dr. Frankenstein, okay? Because if you say something like, okay, this is not to my standard that I want to use, so therefore this program cannot be substituted with an open source program and or run as I wanted it under Linux, they will crucify your little testicles or your vagina, okay? Just be aware of that. If it's not 1000% positive what you're saying about Linux and that Microsoft is the devil and blah, 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 no matter how fucking praises you sing to Linux, if you mention just one thing wrong, they will come after your testicles and your vaginas and your boobs. So my recommendation is, it depends how much do you value your sanity. My simple Debian XFCE desktop, that's kind of beautiful. Pretty art stuff, I don't give a Ask Linux Wiki. Will you please listen? It's not the Messiah. He is the Messiah. Did you know? They don't know that proprietary software is not immoral. And there is the fucking most obnoxious human being that have ever fucking been in. Like, if you want to see what a cult leader is, Richard Stallman. And then he's a despicable fucking human being. Not everyone. But a lot of people I've talked to that have worked with him, most of them have never had good experience working with him. He's an arrogant, self-righteous, bigoted, and he's also highly fucking misogynistic. # have not seen it myself, just heard a lot of people saying it. If that's the person you look up to as some form of deity or demigod or half human, half god, or highly intellectual person, you should evaluate your mentors in life. Let me just put it that way. I think about changing to a different VPN provider. Are there any good VPN that works on Linux, Android, and Windows? Not many, but yeah, there are some. Proud to be a Linux user for 4 years. Come at me when you've done it for 10 years. Windows just too bloated and difficult to learn. Okay. And system programming with C is just great under Linux. So this is I had a conversation on Discord where we were shooting some shit. And I'm like, a lot of the problems people have with Windows, the Linux people have with Windows is problem that if you understand and have knowledge about how Windows work, you will not have those problems. So my question was, is Linux users that have problems with Windows stupid Windows users, meaning that they have no fucking idea what they're doing under Windows and they don't want to learn? This kind of validated to some extent a mock-up I made of a fetch tool for Arch Linux. This meme, yeah, I use Arch by the way, is so fucking old, it's not funny anymore. Screenshot, Linux Mint Bocce. Yeah, but I do like the Bocce desktop. It's one of my preferred desktop environments. I am a Linux freak who only use Linux on everything trying to code virtual basics. Yeah. So here's the thing. If you are going to, like I said before, if you're going to develop for a platform, if you are logical, somewhat intelligent person, it will be like, yeah, maybe I should just develop it on that platform. New to the Linux family, anything I should think about in particular... I could make an 8-hour video about this. So I would just say it like this. Yeah, don't fucking engage with the community. And don't say anything negative about Linux. Best book for Linux app development. Depends on what kind of development. Oh, this is Samsung Flow. Wait a minute, the Samsung Flow looks a bit familiar. Neofets running on a cable box. What is it with people and Neofets and all of that fucking shit? Why would anyone start up a command prompt and have fucking half of the lines already populated with shit they don't need? Do you not know what system you're running? Like, are you so fucking stupid you don't know what system you're running that you need a reminder every time you open your terminal? And if it looks cool, you're the only one seeing it like 9 out of 10 times. It's not like every time you're opening your terminal that all your co-workers and your fucking family members are running and looking over your fucking shoulder to see what kind of fucking smart Neofets whatever fetch you're using, WinFetch and all of the other ones. Nobody gives a fuck. This is only for people that want to look smart to themselves. Debian Bullseye plus LXDE under 400 megabyte. You can actually install KDE on Linux that use under 400 megabyte. What's your favorite Nix and why? That's not Arch. Screw Arch. Yeah, and that's probably... Yeah, I'm not going to... But mine is OpenSUSE Tumbleweed. OpenSUSE Tumbleweed is by far my favorite rolling release distribution at the moment. Best typing tutor for Linux? Yeah, I have no idea. Quick 10 question Linux desktop. Oh my god, Forbes. Or Force Forbes. Oh, what's this? What environment project is one of the developers of the KTE? Oh, fuck this shit. So I hate these fucking quizzes because what this is, it has no fucking meaning whatsoever. It means nothing. All it does is, okay, so do you understand the most simplest thing about Linux ever possible? That's not going to help you whatsoever. Testing versus backport, which is a really, really interesting subject, and I could make an hour-long video about that. Yeah, it's not GNU Linux. It's just Linux. GNU Linux is because with the Stallman's little fucking ego is being pissed. Even he don't like that Linux has get more recognized or being recognized more than GNU. That's the only fucking reason why he's doing it. It's ego. Why does my GPU use go up to 50% when I'm not doing anything? It's like, again, what are you doing? I have noticed that YouTube lately have had some fucking issues where sometimes it just ramp up my fucking GPU usage. Sorry. I just spent 2 hours reconfiguring Ubuntu after I fucked up the Python install beyond belief. Never mess with Python on any kind of GNOME environment, kids. This is going to be the last one. Linux still sucks as a desktop. Changed my mind. Hello, I am a professional Linux administrator in a data center. Oh my god, but Billy Bob and all Billy Bob's friends, they know better than you. Always remember this when you're saying something like, if you're making a statement saying, I actually know what the fuck I'm talking about, Billy Bob in his basement with a lollipop up his ass still knows more than you do and better than you do. So in my opinion, Linux is by far the best OS for the server world. But I will say this, Linux is by far the best server OS for web servers. Not file servers, domain servers, maybe DNS servers. It's definitely the best operating system for IoT devices, in my humble opinion. As a desktop solution, it sucks. Yesterday, I was bored in the evening and I started to wipe the SSD of my Hackintosh to start over again with Linux. Why would you have a Hackintosh? You seem to be making good money. Yeah, whatever. I decided to use Arch with Debian DE. I hate the cinnamon common old looks DEs for Linux. KDE goes in the right direction. I do like KDE myself. After the first start up, I checked the control center. First point here, the audio control won't work, but the firmware was loaded, and as framework Pipewire was installed. Anyway, let's download Chromium to Google for a little problem. Where is the App Store? Anyway, I opened the terminal and used Pac-Man. First open up Chromium, loading, nothing. I have been tried again to open Chromium in the terminal to get any errors, still no success. At this point, I regretted my decision to remove my working Hackintosh. As a next step, I wanted to install the WireGuard client, but there was only the toolkit package, which make it possible to configure WireGuard and etc. WireGuard manually. Why is there a GUI client for Windows Mac, but not a GUI client for Windows? Still 99. Oh. Well, don't you know that under Linux we do everything in the terminal because we are hardcore Linux users? How dare you say you want a GUI? But yeah, I will agree with him. We don't live in the fucking 80s anymore. I'm tired. It's 2023. And one problem chases the next in the desktop environment. So back to Windows and Mac. And here's the thing. Why didn't you use Debian? And why didn't you use X, Y, and Z distribution? He would probably have had problems there also. Why did you use the Debian DE and not GNOME and KDE and blah, blah, blah? Well, he will probably have had other problems under those also. I've heard people install Linux with no problems, but 9 out of 10 times people that are new to Linux, that don't just automatically know how to fix all the small fucking annoyances within Linux. Edit, most of you say that Arch is the wrong distro. Oh yeah, well, to get an out-of-box feeling, and I understand that, but for me, Arch means freedom in package selection. I think what he means with freedom is customizability. He chooses what is going to be installed and not. And not a broken OS until I have the right packages installed. And what he means is not a satisfactory install until he has installed the package that he needs. As in my case, the Arch installer offers Debian as a DE. I want that to work as preset out of the box for now. Anything I install manually after that and where the And where there are errors, I'm responsible for that. So he's basically saying that if Arch Linux is providing you an option to install Debian DE by default, it should just fucking works. And I will agree 1000% with him on that. Anything before that is an error on the part of the OS installer, I will agree 1000% with him. This is edit 2. In the meantime, the comments respect themselves, but nevertheless, I remain with my initial okay, so I think he's responding to the comments. Install Arch Linux as a barebone distro. Where's the App Store? No, he installs Arch Linux and set up the Debian DE and then asks where the App Store is. So he didn't expect Arch Linux to have an App Store in the CLI, but have it in the Debian desktop environment. This is the kind of people that we're dealing with here. I have driven without a seatbelt for 30 years and never had an accident. Therefore, seatbelts is unnecessary. That is the mentality of people we are dealing with here. That's the IQ of the people that we're dealing with here. This here, what I read right here, and I'm talking from 25 years experience with Linux and been using Arch Linux since it came out and talked to people that have been using Arch Linux since it came out. There are a lot of fucking people that have these kind of experience under Arch Linux. Heck, there are a lot of people having these experience under any Linux distribution. They are coming from a world where 9 out of 10 things just fucking works. Going into a world where 5 out of 10 things just fucking works. And then it depends on how many times you swing the dead cat over your computer, who fucking guard you sacrifice your left testicle to, and what components you were lucky enough to pick when you bought your computer. All of that you have to count into this thing called Linux. Nowhere here when I read this am I seeing someone disregarding Linux, saying Linux is the worst thing ever and blah 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 blah. What I see here is someone that works with Linux in a professional manner, wanted to try Linux, installed Linux, didn't have a good experience with Linux, therefore went back to whatever Windows or Mac that they want to use. Criticize Linux for not having a GUI environment for things that people at other systems have GUI environments for over 20 fucking years almost. I kind of get that. People nowadays, like it or not, they want GUI fucking things. They want a big fucking button they click on. That's what they're brought up with, that's what they know, that's what they expect. He actually said here he understood what Arch Linux was. He understood what was going on with Arch, that it was, build it your own kind of thing. But he also, rightfully so, expected that, well, if Arch Linux gives me a option to do something, I expect that option to work. One thing I may be a little bit like, the package manager thing, I'm like, yeah, they should have installed like either GNOME software or something like that. Like when you're choosing the Debian DE, it should just, as a meta package, have installed a software manager. But I also see it like, well, it is Arch, and with that comes that they like you to install packages from the command line. As a desktop solution, Linux sucks with a smiley. This is why I don't go on to Reddit, because it's like Billy Bob in his basement with too much fucking time that have no idea how the real world work and most of these fucking people down here have not worked with Linux in any professional manner other than installing Arch Linux and now think that they are fucking IT expert. See you all later. Bye bye.